morning. We'll go ahead and get started this morning. Looks like we got quite a few people here. So real quick, all the homes are fine. All right, they're fine right now. We have not lost any structures. A lot of that is because of the good work by our fire departments, our state partners, our federal partners. I'm going to read those off to you because I really like to make sure that we give kudos to those people that are fighting so hard on those fires. Because I'm telling you what, they've been up 24 hours a day for the last 3 operational periods, and they have worked their butts off. And I know that's probably not a technical term, but they're working it, all right? So right now we have 4 Mile Fire, Fort Carson Fire is up here, El Paso County Wildland Fire, Colorado Springs Fire Department, Park County, Lake George, Netco, Victor Fire Department, the Genesee Fire Department, Cripple Creek Fire Department, all of our state resources, federal resources, Florissant Fire Departments, and BLM. So it's a lot of people up here fighting that fire for this community, and they're doing a wonderful job of it. So what I'm going to do too is I want to give a shout out for a couple different private entities that really stepped to the plate for us. One's Verizon. They brought up a mobile network trailer, which is really helping us keep communication so we can actually have that flow of communication. And the second is Teller Wi-Fi, who went up last night and turned one of their pieces to get us Wi-Fi down there to where we could actually get maps and things done that we needed to. That was amazing. I just want to thank them for all their work. They did that at midnight last night to make sure we had that by this morning. So your community really has come together. You folks have come together, and that's a lot of the reason why we're able to do these things. So thank you so much for all your time and your support and really keeping us going, because that's why we do it. So I want to turn this over to our BLM partner so he can talk about kind of what the fire activity is. I will tell you we're 1,000 acres plus, and I'll talk about evacuations after he's done a little bit about where we're evacuating, the pre-evacuations, and what that really means for you. All right?
Hey, Sheriff. Matt Norton, Incident Commander for the High Park Fire. As Sheriff mentioned, we're at 1,000 plus acres. Most of that fire growth was due to some fire growth from yesterday, as well as burnout operations in an attempt to contain the fire by suppression resources. Crews did awesome work yesterday, both with direct tactics with dozers, folks on the ground, both hand crews and engines, in addition to aviation resources, both air tankers and helicopters dropping water and retardant on the fire. With all that great work that we've done yesterday, fairly confident we can get a 10% containment on the fire at this time. I know that's not a real big number, but we with all that great work that's done at the heel on the west side of the fire, obviously a long way to go, but we have a 10% containment at this time. Yesterday afternoon, we did get a spot over the 4 Mile Creek drainage that did get established to 70 plus acres. We hit it with aviation, was not able to get hand crews or ground resources on it yesterday. With that breach, that reached one of our management action points that we had pre-identified yesterday, and with that management action point triggered the additional evacuations that the sheriff will speak to, as well as the ordering of an incident management team. That incident management team will start to trickle in today with an briefing by 1800, 6 o'clock this evening, with a transition to them date and time to be determined. For today, crews are going to continue with the great work they've done, strengthening those control lines that we put in, doing the structure protection along Lakemore Drive in there, and then with a lot of the focus for the ground resources and aircraft being on that slop over east of the 4 Mile Creek drainage, coming up with a strategy and plan to deploy folks in there to find containment lines and barriers that we can use.
Sum some of that up too. A lot of you that live in this area know that Rattlesnake Canyon or Gulch area, and that it's really hard to get into, right? So when it slops over, that triggered a lot of those events we're talking about. So right now, Lakemore West is in the evacuation zone, along with the high Cripple Creek Ranchettes, Mount Pisgah, and then Lost Borough Campground. That's what's being evacuated now. The reason for that is that when it moved in those areas that are hard to fight, we can't get hand crews around it, right? So a lot of that aircraft that they're going to bring in, you're going to see a lot of resources thrown at something today, is to slow that down. So on pre-evacuation, we have Cripple Creek Mountain Estates, and we have Rye Mountain area, right? So it's a concern of ours. So on that pre-evacuation area, know that you need to be ready to leave at any moment's notice. A lot of those areas down there, if you live in there or have friends in there, a lot of our problem is getting down there to make sure we get everybody out of there, right? So a lot of it's one way in, one way out. When I have one way in, one way out, I got to give you more time to get out. So when we do that. So what I need you to do is watch the Teller County Facebook site, Teller County Sheriff's Office website, the Teller County website, and your local news media. Because that's really where you're going to get those alerts from if you're not in the evacuation area or the pre-evacuation area. Because again, that Everbridge system that we use to release that key information on, so you'll need to go in and sign up for that on the Teller County Sheriff's Office page, right? Or it's Pikes Peak Alerts, Renee?
Peakalerts.org.
Peakalerts.org. You need to go on there and sign up for those, all right? But you also have to turn on your alerts. A lot of us turn off the alerts so you don't get all those messages all the time. You won't get messages unless you have that turned on. So to get updated, accurate information, if you're in the evacuation or pre-evacuation zones, you've got to turn that back on, all right? That way we can get you that information. Deputies will also be in those areas, pre-staging if we do need to do evacuations. But right now, the pre-evacuation zones are Cripple Creek Mountain Estates and the Rye Mountain area, and that corridor, all right? It'll probably contain that way most of the day. Just be ready to move out of those areas. I do want to say I keep forgetting the Divide Fire Department. All right, so I'm going to add them back to that list. I don't know why I keep doing that. Maybe it's a D, and I'm not real good with Ds, but I want to give them kudos for coming out. Also, a lot of the information, if you don't have social media, you don't have TV, but you have the ham radios, because we have a lot of people like that in the county, that information is being updated through the ham radio operations also. So you can get that through them as well. All right. Dan, you want to say a few words?
Thanks, Jason. So I'm Dan Williams. I'm the current chair of the Board of County Commissioners, along with Eric Stone and Bob Campbell. From the time we signed the emergency order, we've been operational, we've been forward. I won't repeat anything that you've heard, but I just want to give you the pride of our joint partners at both the state and federal level. You guys see it, you hear it, to be in the smoke, to be in the fire. You can be very proud. You have local firefighters that are fighting fires within inside of their own homes. We've got kids, we've got everything. I would add two things really briefly to what Jason said, and to be prepared. Common mistakes are folks are leaving, like last night when we got out of here minutes to go. They're forgetting medications, CPAP machines, oxygen machines. Through coordination with the Sheriff's Office, there's occasionally an opportunity to go back and get that right. But I also want you to know that we've got the hospital on standby. There's 15 beds available there. Eric can tell you, but he went down and visited the evac site. We're basically taking folks from this side of the county, moving into Woodland Park. Woodland Park's open it with open arms. It's in an interesting way. It's what we've been trying to do to bring the community back together for since COVID started. It's happening. That's very proud of you guys. And I also want to let you know that Governor Polis and I talked last night. He has very good situational awareness about what's going on the ground here, thanks to our federal and state partners and all the reporting that we're doing. So he called and said, I just want to sync up with you. We went through the common operation picture, and then he ended with, how can I help you? And so I told him, thank you very much for what you've done. And I did request that we declare a state disaster. Now that's not a decision, that's a request, and obviously he's going to talk to his smart folks that come through here. So I wanted to let you know from the state on down, they're focused on the capabilities that you're watching. Fort Carson, as he mentioned, so they're federal and state. I can look you in the eye and tell you that this is about you. This is about our homes. This is about saving our way of life. This is the Front Range helping the rural counties. This is Democrats helping Republicans. None of that matters. It's just good Western values and the code of the West. So I'd be very proud of your team. And if I could, Eric or Bob, anything you want to add, sir?
No, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Good,
and with that, a great example of a, come on up, Keith, of a great federal partner is Keith Berger, our BLM. Sir?
Yeah, we just want to echo what Dan said and really give a shout out. This fire has been just a model of good cooperation between the local resources, the county resources, state, the Department of Fire Prevention and Control, and the federal partners, Bureau of Land Management. We have a lot of Forest Service assets on this fire too. So we've learned over time that's what it takes to deal with a fire of this size, complexity, all those kind of things. So, and you're just seeing that model here today. A lot of great work that all the partners have contributed to. Just made a lot of great things happen on the ground and logistically also. Still a long ways to go, as Dan alluded to. A lot of complexity left in this incident. Long ways to go. We're getting the resources in to deal with that. But just understand, we still got a ways to go. And your patience and the things that, that both the sheriff and Dan mentioned about the cooperation, the pre-evac, all that stuff is just critical to helping this happen. So shout out to everybody that's working on this. A lot of shout out to the community for the support and the patience that all you have shown. So thank you very much.
I want to thank all of our volunteers that have been coming up, the search and rescue units, the posse units, just all of those units that are coming in to help us with these things. The other thing is that the evacuation site has been moved from Cripple Creek down to Woodland Park High School in Woodland Park. We want to get people out of the smoke, right? There's a lot of smoke issues up there. Our public health department is posting information on smoke inhalation and how to deal with those things. So that's going to be posted with a lot of our media stuff going forward. We are going to put maps in Cripple Creek and in Woodland Park at the old evacuation center and then at the new evacuation center to give you updates as well, so you can drive up and take a look at those. Today at 1 o'clock, we'll be doing another town hall and meeting with everybody at 1 o'clock in Cripple Creek at the high school. Okay? Because I'll need their gymnasium. Yes, ma'am.
Road closures.
There are.
Are there any?
So
on
Teller 1 is
67?
open. 67 is open. The only road closures I have right now are Lakemore West Inn and into the areas on the Rhyline mountainside and into the Cripple Creek Ranchette sides.
Not Rhyline.
I'm sorry, Pisgah.
Pisgah area.
There's two big mountains up here.
So Teller 11 can go all the way to
No.
Canyon City?
No.
No?
Still shut down.
It's still shut down?
Till mile marker 3. From 3 up to the 4 Mile Church.
So from County 3 to 4 Mile Church is still shut down. So you'll still need to go around. And the reason we do that is we have a lot of fire operations where we got trucks and we're trying to get heavy equipment through there. And if I've got to open that up, then it contends with people trying to look and see what's going on. And then I don't want any accidents with those, because then it takes people away from the fire and everything else we're dealing with, okay? So that's why that's closed down, so you will need to go use extra or different routes, all right? So 1 o'clock or 1300 for others at the Cripple Creek High School. We'll do another meeting with the public and let you know what's going on and where we're at. I can't endorse this enough, though. It's just because you're in a place and you say, hey, there's no smoke, we're good. You're not good, all right? The problem is we don't know what that fire does. That smoke will set down. We get strong winds. It starts to move. You may see a column. Just because you think that you're not affected because you don't see it is not the case. That's why we put those trigger points in effect. And what happens is if you decide to stay, we're going to let you stay. But I have to run deputies back there before the fire gets there to let you know, because you may not see the fire to know to leave. It puts my people in danger also. So I'm going to ask you, leave when we let you know, okay? Because I may not be able to come in and let you know. You've got to go, because I can't put my people at risk if you decide that you know more than we do, okay? And I don't know how to put that any more blunt than I just did, okay? So thank you folks for coming. I really appreciate all of you. Bear with us. We're going to do the best we can, and those firefighters are doing the best job they could ever do for you. So thank you very much.